Try to listen carefully today now about dividing fractions, because like I said, if you can remember how to multiply fractions and dividing fractions, or if you know how to multiply by fractions, you just have to remember one little rule for dividing fractions, and it's very easy. All right. What did y'all learn last year? Can somebody tell me what they learned last year about dividing fractions? Anybody remember? Because you had it in 5th grade and 6th grade. Remember? Cross cancel. That is going to be part of it.
Keep, change, flip. Keep the first one, change the inside of multiplication, and flip the last.
Okay, keep, change, flip. That's kind of what everybody's been saying, but now, because we are older and wiser, we don't say keep, change, flip. We just simply say you multiply by the what?
Oh, denominator?
Say it.
Opposite.
Close. Opposite. Multiply by the reciprocal. All right. And what exactly is the reciprocal? That's when you do what? That's exactly correct. You're just simply switching the numerator and the denominator. That's all there is to it. All right. Now, I always show kids why they do that. How did anybody ever come up with that? All right, I'm going to show you why. So please look up. Put your pencils down. Look up. Here's the story. All right. Sean, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you ready. All right. I want someone in here to tell me what 4 divided by a half is. 2. Come on, 4 divided by a half. 2. 2. 2. 2. Anybody else?
2.
2. Anybody disagree with 2?
2 is probably right, but why would it be
4 divided by a half. If I said 4 divided by a half, just tell me what you think it is. Because you're right, they're all wrong. They're all
4
wrong.
divided by half would be 4. Oh.
It's 8. Right? Now, this is why I don't like the keep, change, flip. Because it doesn't make any sense. You don't know why you're doing that. You're just doing that because someone told you to do that. Now watch my demonstration up here on the board, and you will see exactly why the mathematicians got together and said keep, change, flip. Or they really said when you're dividing fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. And let me show you exactly what I mean. Please look up, and it'll make sense to you. And this is my number one objective in 7th grade, is try to make numbers make sense to kids. All right? I don't want you just remembering keep, change, flip. I want you to understand why you're doing that. What?
What page is this on? 117.
Tucker, listen. You are interrupting a discussion for your own self. We're not doing that. That just means you haven't been paying attention at all, because at the beginning of class I said, please, everybody just put page 117 and you don't have to worry about the numbers. Now you're interrupting class. All right, I'm expecting more. You remember that? I told you. Expecting more out of you. All right? So stay with me, please. Now I'm going to show you, Tucker, why 4 divided by 1/2 is 8. Okay? So here we go. All you guys who thought it was 2. Here's how I describe it with kids. Whenever I'm dealing with fractions, put your chair down. Or whenever I'm dealing with fractions, I think of pizzas. All right, so watch this concept. Here is 1. There's 2. 3. There's my 4 pizzas. All right, and what did I say I was going to do to those 4 pizzas? You're going to cut them in half. Exactly. So if I were to cut them in half, here's what you should understand. I just cut them in half. And if I cut them in half, I have what? 8 halves. That's exactly right. I just took 4 and I divided them up into halves. And if I divide them up into halves, I will have what? 8. Right? So now we just said 4 divided by 1/2 is equal to 8. We know that's true, correct? We absolutely know that's true. So the mathematicians had to come along and say, well, why is that true? Or how do we teach people that 4 divided by 1/2 is 8? Right? So they said, wow, that's pretty cool. 8 is the same as what? 4 times what? 2. So then they said, well, what's the relationship between 1/2 and 2? Well, they realized that 2 is the same as 2 over what? 1. That's where the reciprocal came in. So they said, wow, that's pretty cool. If we just take this number right here and change it to its reciprocal and then multiply, that's the same answer. Does everybody agree with that? All right. So now you understand it's not some just crazy people sitting around in a room just saying, let's just make math hard and let's just put division and fractions multiplied by reciprocal, and we have no idea why. All right? Because it is hard to visualize. It is hard to visualize. Hopefully, everybody in here was able to visualize that. Because now, if I ask you a question like, for example, 2/3 divided by, let's say, 3/4. If I said 2/3 divided by 3/4, now we have a general idea. All right? What are we taking? 2/3, and we're dividing it into what? 3/4. Now, what's the problem here? Can anybody tell me the problem?
You can cross cancel.
Well, not yet. The problem is if I'm trying to divide 2/3 is less than 3/4. Right? Do you agree with that? 2/3 is less than 3/4. Right? So can I divide it really up into 3/4? No. It's going to be less than what? 1 time. All right, this is what I'm trying to tell you about numbers and how you can understand numbers better now. All right? But to solve this mathematically, what would we do? So it'd be 2/3 times 4/3. That's right. 8/9. That's exactly right. So can I take really 2/3 and divide it by 3/4? No. Is 2/3 almost 3/4? Yeah. So you could almost divide it 1 time. Well, guess what 8/9 is? Almost 1 time. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. And I hope some of you guys are sitting there and you're not exactly sure what I'm saying, or you're not understanding me exactly. You can ask me a question. Because the most important thing to get better at math is to understand numbers better. That's why I always start out with something so easy. And not, if you ask your parents what's 4 divided by half, they're probably going to say what? 2, like everybody. Right? That's probably what's going to happen. All right, it is a trick question. Absolutely a trick question. Because instinctually, you just think it's what? You just think it's 2. But if I said half of 4, you would say that's what? That would be 2, right? Half of 4 is 2, right? That's what I'm saying. The difference, division. Division, you're dividing it up into groups, all right? Now, again, hopefully that helps, but go ahead, tell me.
So if you were able to cross cancel, would you cross cancel it when you're dividing, or like when you switch?
After you do, that's a good question. After you do the reciprocal, that's when you reduce the fraction. All right, after you do the reciprocal. All right. Now, there's another fancy word for reciprocal. It's called the multiplicative inverse. All right. We don't usually say reciprocal. We can say the multiplicative inverse. All right. But again, some of you are going to just call it flip. All right. So again, let's now number 1 to 6. All right, we're going to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, these are kind of easy. Now again, some of you are writing like this. All right, the answer. Here's the answer, let's say, to number 1. That's how some of you write.
What?
That's what I'm saying. I have no idea what that is either. That's how some of you write. And if I ask you to do multiplication, you do something like this. I'm going, I have no idea what that is. No earthly idea. All right, and then I generally know that's number 1 because you make 1 big enough so you think I can see that's number 1. And then when you do number 2, you do number 2 like this, and then you write again, some gibberish down here. And then some of you just put number 3, and you know what I mean? Now it's just a big mess because half the time the 3 looks like it's in there somewhere.
So it looks like it's done for me.
Yeah, you think I'm like not up to your games, right? I know what you're doing, right? Every single time I want a space between each problem. I want to know if you're doing the problem. I'm not going to give you credit for garbage written all over your paper. Right? No more garbage is allowed on your paper. All right? Some of the problems some of you guys are having is I ask you to check your work. I don't ever see a check sign next to anything like, yeah, I checked it, I know they're right. All right? That's your goal in here is to make sure when you're doing the problems, you're doing them correctly. All right? I don't want it so I can't read it. I'm not accepting it anymore. After today, and I'm going to tell you, tomorrow it's a 0, and you're going to do it over. All right? Now, some of you think you're just math geniuses because I noticed on your paper the answers are all just there. And you wrote the problems on a separate sheet of paper. And you left that separate sheet of paper at home. Do you think I believe that for 1 second? Not even for 1 second. You can stop with the story as soon as you start a story because I don't believe any of it. Your dog didn't eat it. I don't believe that either. All right? I don't believe any excuses, none. I would much rather you say I didn't do my homework. All right? That makes at least you're honest. All right? That's the most important thing. All right? So again, I'm checking for how well you're writing on your paper. I'm not accepting. Sean knows. Ask Sean. I'm not accepting garbage. We got in a little argument earlier, and guess who won? Tell him, Sean. I always win. All right? I want the paper, I want your work neater. All right? Not sloppiness. When you finish a problem, you skip a space. Now, do I really care if you skip a space on 1 through 6? No, because there's no work involved. It's just what's the reciprocal, and it's write the answer. When there's multiplication and division involved, you're going to write the problem, you're going to do the work, and then the next problem you're going to do what? Skip a space. No more garbage. I'm not accepting it. No more garbage. What? Thank you for raising your hand.
I'm still kind
No, I'm not done on a problem yet. What?
Sometimes is it okay, like if I don't understand it, I'll look at the solutions.
Exactly.
I will
Yay.
just write the answer.
Right. No. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look at how they got the answer and see if you can follow their logic. That's what you're supposed to do. And if you can't follow the logic, then you're supposed to come to class and say, man, I tried. My parents didn't know how to do it. The explanations out of the book didn't help me do it. So I need you to help me. And that's what I want to do. All right, that's why I provide you with the answers. All right, you use the answers to help you work backwards. That's a tremendous help for some of you. It's not for some of you to say, well, I left my work at home, but I have all the answers. Come on now. Come on now. I'm not a rookie teacher. I'm not falling for that. All right, Max, I'm not falling for that. All right. So here we go. Now that we've solved that problem, and I mean it, I don't want to hurt your feelings when I crumple your paper up and throw it in the garbage. But that's going to happen tomorrow with some of you. I promise. I'm going to say do it over. No sloppiness.
I don't want to do that.
Yes, sir.
What if people just like do the problems in their head?
Well, I know which ones you can do in your head. And I know which ones you can't. You agree with me? Like we're not, like you can't write down the answer to number 32. You just can't do that in your head. You know why I know that? Because I can't do that in my head. If I can't do it in my head, you can't do it in your head. I show my work on that problem. Right? That's what we're talking about. And I don't have the neatest handwriting in the world, but I write in block letters, and I space things out so everybody can see, and everybody knows exactly what I'm doing. All right? Now that's it. Let's get busy. All right? So here we go. Back to number 1. So we're going to start over here. The reciprocal. Tell me. 7 over 6. Beautiful. The multiplicative inverse is 7 over 6, or the reciprocal is 7 over 6. You're up. Number 2. Now we have to do what with this first?
Turn to an improper.
Thank you. Turn it to an improper fraction.
11.
Yes, ma'am.
11.
So now the reciprocal?
2.
Yes. That's my answer.
Is it okay if it's like this, but you can still see that there's...
If I can read it, you're in much better shape. All right? Because in the past, guess what? I haven't been able to read your work. So if I can read it, you're in good shape. If I can't read it, tomorrow you're going to be picking it out of the garbage. You with me? I'm not kidding. All right. All right.
Negative 1 over 6.
Yes, very good. Negative 1 over 63. Now notice the negative just stays out in front. The negative just stays out in front. Now, I keep telling some of you guys who want to do better, now's the time to speak up if you're not sure. All right, now's the time to speak up. What? Yes, we're going to do all the scenarios right now. All right? Bella, you're up. Number 4. Say it first. Say it first. No, improper. Don't try to do it all.
You do 9 times 10.
Uh-huh.
And then you add 9.
So the answer is?
99. And then you do 10. And then it's 10 over 9.
Yes, yes. All right. Don't try to do too much work in your head. Yes. I want you to do what I'm doing. All right, that's what I prefer. To be safe. So then, beautiful. Exactly. All right, Grace. You are awesome. 35 over 11. Nice and neat. All right, hold your paper up, boys. I want to see your paper. Max? All right. Small. I have old eyes. All right, it's hard for me to see. Keep that in mind. All right, I'm not getting a microscope to look at your answers. All right? Yeah, there are some in the science lab. Thank you. All right, I'll tell Miss Bragdon to send down some of her microscopes so I can see your writing. All right, here we go. 7, 8, and 9. Here we go. Now I'm going to grab 7, 8, and 9, and we're going to push it down. And I'm going to have... Look how cool that is. All right, nothing. Okay, so now I have... We're on number 7, so tell me what to do. Everybody write the problem. All right, space out. Now, what do I do?
You change the division sign.
All right, let me hear you sound mathematical. And then I multiply by the... Yes, you do. Good job. Reciprocal. What's the reciprocal?
9.
Beautiful. Now tell me what to do.
Multiply.
Cross cancel.
Cross cancel.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what to cancel.
8 and 4.
Good job. 8 becomes a...
2.
4 becomes a...
1. And then it's... I forgot to cross cancel.
No, come on. Just finish off right here.
It'll be 9 over 2.
Be careful now.
No, 9 over 10.
Right, and then don't forget the what?
Negative.
That's right. Negative 9 over 10. Now, if you don't cross cancel, it just makes it harder because you have to reduce. You with me on this?
Yeah.
All right, so as long as you know. All right, so number 8. Did you do one yet? All right, you're up. Number 8. Loud and proud, please.
5 over 7 multiplied by the reciprocal, which is 35.
You're awesome, kiddo. Now what?
Now you can cross cancel 7 and 35.
Yes, you can. What does that become?
7 becomes a 1, and the 35 becomes a 5.
Positive or negative? And then? You're awesome. Negative 25 over 2. How's that? Boys? You guys spacing out? No. Remember, I already told you, always leave it as an improper fraction. When you get to higher level math, we leave it as an improper, not mixed. All right? Now, if you accidentally change it to a mixed fraction, am I going to mark it wrong? No, because that's still the same answer. Still correct. But just we leave it like that. All right. All right, Miss Sienna. What am I doing for this one? 4 over 9 times. Good job. Doesn't matter where you put the negative, though, right?
No.
All right. So now my final answer is going to be positive or negative. Good job. And now, is there anything I can reduce?
4 and 2, you can do 2 and then get 1 and then 2.
So final answer?
Negative 2 over 9.
You're awesome. Negative 2 over 9. Boys, still good? Skipping spaces back there. Nice, neat, and organized. I don't want to hurt your feelings tomorrow. All right, here we go. I'm grabbing 10, 11, and 12. Angelina, tell me about number 10, please.
It's 7 over 9 times negative 1 over 14.
You're awesome.
And then you can reduce 7 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
Cross cancel 7 and 15. And it'll be 1 and 2.
Final answer.
Negative 1 over 18.
You're awesome, girl. Thank you.
Negative 1 over 18, or would it be negative?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right, so let's remember this now. Watch this, please. This negative can go up there, out here, or down there. It just can't go, it has to go in one of those spots. Can't go in 2 spots. Mathematically, generally right out in front or on the top, but generally it's that way. Max, you ready? All right, let's hear you, bud. Oh, you got a kind of a tricky one, so we got to, don't worry, loud and proud, okay? Yes. Good job so far. Now, can you tell me if the answer is going to be positive or negative? So do I care about the negatives? No, just leave them out. Okay? And then time, or no, divided by what? Over. Beautiful. Now what, please? Not yet. Yeah. How do we say it? We don't say flip anymore. We say multiply by the There you go. Yes, sir. Okay, buddy. Now what? Very nice. Shh. Yes, 3 over 5. Feels good, man. Come on. That's easy. Go, go. I don't care about that. What? No. All right. Number 12. Connor. Yes.
For the first one, change it to a proper fraction, which is 64 over 9. by 4.
Good job. Now, is my answer going to be positive or negative? Right, so I just like to put a negative so I don't forget.
And
Then my
is 64 times 3.
good job, buddy.
You can't cross cancel 64 and 4, right?
Yeah, they're both even, right?
Yeah.
So we could divide them by what?
4. I
Right.
mean 2.
You could divide by 2 also. What's 4 divided by 2?
4.
64 divided by 2 is an easy one. Good job. Now can I reduce 2 and 32?
Yeah. 2 times 1, 32 times 4 is 16.
Good job.
Our answer is 16.
And don't forget it's what? Nice. I'm so happy with that. Everybody agree? All right. Now I just don't think that's that hard. You guys agree with that? It's not. It's really not that hard. All right. Does everybody agree? It's easy. It's easy. All right. Especially if you did the multiplication. All right. So here is my expectation. All right. We're now. Your homework is just this: 17 through 33. 17 through 33. Well, what do you have to do to your answers? Check your answers. Now, I don't care if you skip a space on 17 through 25 because those are just writing the answers. Those are super easy. I do care about skipping a space on 26 through 33. Everybody with me? Write the original problem, skip a space, right? I want to see the work. Nice, neat, organized. I want to see the cross out, just like you did on, or just like you see on my paper up here. All right, and like I said, if that's not it tomorrow, it's going where?
Trash.
In the trash. Going right in the trash. And don't be sad, because I gave you words of warning. All right, write meter for me. All right, now I'm coming around the room, and I may just throw some of yours in the trash right now because it's too sloppy. Right, Sean? Hold your paper up. Let me see if that's too sloppy, Sean. All right. All right. Wow. Is that in pen?
No.
Darn. I was hoping you'd be the first one I throw in the garbage. All right.